Daily English Café.
Your cozy space for real-life English.
Hey there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Quick question for you. What does your perfect morning look like?
Do you jump out of bed full of energy, or do you hit the snooze button 6 times and grab your phone first thing?
Stay with us for the next few minutes because today we're going to help you talk about your morning routine in clear, natural English, and maybe even upgrade your real routine a little bit.
And by the end of this episode, you'll have simple, powerful phrases you can use in class, in a job interview, or just chatting with friends. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to the Daily English Cafe podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Ryan. This is the show where you improve your English by listening to real conversations about everyday life.
Today's topic is morning routines, such a classic question in English. What's your morning routine, or what do you usually do in the morning?
And it's a super useful topic because you can use it in small talk, in English exams, speaking tests, or even in job interviews when they ask about your habits and your time management.
Exactly. So in this episode, we'll do three things. First, we'll share our real morning routines.
Second, we'll stop from time to time to teach you important vocabulary and expressions.
And third, we'll give you some speaking templates so you can describe your own morning routine with confidence.
You can even pause the episode, repeat after us, and practice out loud. That's how you make real progress.
All right, let's warm up with a simple question. Ryan, are you a morning person or a night owl?
I'm definitely a morning person. I like waking up early when it's quiet and calm.
And there we go, our first useful phrase, morning person.
A morning person is someone who feels good in the morning, has energy, and likes getting up early.
The opposite is night owl. A night owl likes staying up late at night and usually hates early mornings.
So, which one are you if you're listening right now? Morning person or night owl? Think about it in English.
You can say, I'm a morning person, or I'm a night owl. Simple, but very natural.
All right, Sarah, let's break down your morning step by step. Imagine it's a typical weekday. What time do you usually wake up?
On weekdays, I usually wake up around 6:30.
Wake up. That's another key phrase. To wake up means to stop sleeping. Your eyes open, your brain turns on.
But notice, wake up is not always the same as get up. Many people wake up and then stay in bed.
Right. To get up means to leave the bed to stand up.
So I usually wake up at 6:30, but I get up at about 6:40. I stay in bed for 10 minutes just breathing and stretching.
Nice and gentle start.
So if I put that in a full sentence for learners, on weekdays, I usually wake up at 6:30, but I don't get up right away. I stay in bed for about 10 minutes and stretch.
That is a perfect sentence you can copy and use.
Ryan, what about you? What time do you wake up?
I usually wake up at 7. My alarm goes off at 7 exactly.
My alarm goes off is a great expression. It means your alarm starts ringing or making a sound.
Exactly. So you can say, my alarm goes off at 7, or my alarm goes off at 6:30.
Do you hit snooze or do you get up immediately?
Honestly, I sometimes hit snooze once. To hit snooze means you press the button to stop the alarm for a few more minutes.
Right, usually for 5 or 10 minutes, depending on your phone or alarm clock.
So a good sentence for learners is, my alarm goes off at 7, and I usually hit the snooze button once before I finally get up.
That sounds very real.
After you finally get up, Sarah, what's the very first thing you do?
I make my bed every single morning.
That's such a good habit.
To make your bed means to arrange the blanket, the sheets, and the pillows so the bed looks neat and tidy.
And neat and tidy just means clean and organized, not messy.
So I get up, I open the curtains to let some light in, and then I make my bed. It takes about 2 minutes, but it makes me feel productive.
If you're listening, here's a simple structure you can use. First, I get up. Then I open the curtains and make my bed.
Try repeating that out loud. First, I get up. Then I open the curtains and make my bed.
Good job, wherever you are. Maybe not on the bus, though. People might look at you funny.
What about you, Ryan? Do you make your bed?
I do, but not immediately. First, I go to the bathroom and brush my teeth. I need to feel fresh.
Here's some basic but essential vocabulary. I go to the bathroom, I wash my face, I brush my teeth, and I have a quick shower.
Let me describe my bathroom routine in one paragraph slowly and clearly so our listeners can repeat. After I get up, I go straight to the bathroom. I brush my teeth, wash my face with cold water, and sometimes I take a quick shower. Then I dry my hair and put on some face cream.
That's perfect. Simple verbs, clear order, very natural.
And you can use linking words like after that, then, finally. For example, first I brush my teeth, then I wash my face, and after that I take a shower.
Those transition words make your English sound smoother and more advanced.
Okay, big question, Sarah. Coffee or tea in the morning?
Definitely coffee. I can't function without coffee.
Same here.
Here is some coffee vocabulary for our listeners. You can say, I brew a cup of coffee, or I make myself a cup of coffee.
And there's also instant coffee, when you just add hot water, and freshly ground coffee, which sounds a little fancy.
Let me give an example sentence. After I make my bed, I go to the kitchen and brew a cup of coffee. I usually drink black coffee with no sugar.
That's great. I usually say I make myself a latte because I like milk in my coffee.
So you can say, I drink black coffee, or I drink coffee with milk, or I like my coffee strong and hot.
And if you don't drink coffee, change it to tea, green tea, herbal tea, or even a glass of water with lemon.
Now let's talk about something many people do, but they don't know how to describe in English. Checking your phone.
Yes, this is a big one. Be honest, do you check your phone first thing in the morning?
I'm trying not to, but sometimes I do. First thing in the morning is another useful phrase. It means the very first thing you do after you wake up.
You can say, I try not to check my phone first thing in the morning, or you can say, I usually check my messages first thing in the morning.
You can also say, I scroll through social media, which means you move your finger on the screen and look at posts.
For example, I make my coffee and then I sit at the table and scroll through social media for about 10 minutes.
Or if you want to sound more disciplined, I try to avoid social media in the morning, so I only check my email quickly.
To avoid means to stay away from something, not to do it.
Let's zoom out for a moment and talk about structure. When you describe your morning routine in English, a good pattern is to use time expressions plus action verbs.
Exactly. Time expressions like usually, always, often, sometimes, on weekdays, on weekends, around 7, at about 8:30.
For example, on weekdays, I usually wake up around 6:30. On weekends, I sleep in.
To sleep in is a really nice phrasal verb. It means to sleep longer than usual, especially in the morning.
So you can say, I wake up at 6:30 on weekdays, but on Saturdays, I like to sleep in until 9.
That one sentence already shows variety in your vocabulary, which is great for exams or interviews.
Ryan, can you walk us through your ideal weekday morning, step by step, as if you're telling a story?
Sure, I'll go slowly and I'll try to use lots of useful expressions. Ryan, on weekdays, my alarm goes off at 7. I usually hit the snooze button once, so I actually get up at about 7:10. The first thing I do is open the curtains and let some sunlight into the room. Then I make my bed. After that, I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and splash some cold water on my face to wake myself up. If I have time, I take a quick shower.
Nice. Keep going.
Once I'm done in the bathroom, I head to the kitchen and make myself a cup of coffee. I usually drink a latte and eat a light breakfast, maybe some toast with peanut butter or a bowl of oatmeal. While I'm having breakfast, I quickly check my email and look at my calendar for the day.
This is such a good model answer.
After breakfast, I like to do a short workout at home. I stretch, do some push-ups, and maybe a few minutes of yoga. Exercise in the morning really helps me feel focused and positive. Finally, I take a few minutes to plan my day. I write a short to-do list, and then I'm ready to start work.
Beautiful. If you're listening, you can borrow that structure and just change the details to match your life.
All right, Sarah, your turn. Give us your complete morning routine story.
Okay, here we go. Sarah, on a typical weekday, I usually wake up around 6:30. I don't jump out of bed immediately. I like to stay under the covers for about 10 minutes, just stretching and taking a few deep breaths. After that, I get up, open the window a little bit, and make my bed. I love starting the day with a tidy room.
Very relatable.
Then I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth, wash my face, and put on a little bit of skincare. Sometimes I take a quick shower if I feel sleepy. When I'm done, I head to the kitchen and brew a fresh cup of coffee. I usually drink it black with no sugar.
Nice rhythm.
For breakfast, I like to keep it simple. I often have yogurt with fruit or eggs and toast. While I'm eating, I listen to a short podcast or some calm music. I try not to check my phone too much, but I usually glance at my messages and see if there's anything urgent.
Glance at is a nice phrase, by the way. It means to look quickly.
Right. After breakfast, I sit at my desk and write in my journal for 10 minutes. I write about my goals for the day and a few things I'm grateful for. This helps me feel focused and positive. Finally, I check my schedule, reply to important emails, and then I start working.
That's a very healthy routine.
I try. Not every day is perfect, of course, but that's the general routine.
Let's talk about some useful verbs and phrases that came up in those stories. We had wake up, get up, make my bed, head to the kitchen, brew coffee, have breakfast, check my email, work out, plan my day.
And we also use some phrasal verbs like sleep in, scroll through, wake up to, get ready, head out.
Maybe we can take a moment to break these down for our listeners.
Sure. Let's start with to get ready. This is a very common phrase. It means to prepare yourself before you leave the house. Getting dressed, brushing your hair, putting on makeup, packing your bag, all of that is getting ready.
So you can say, after breakfast, I get ready for work, or I get ready for school.
Next, to head out. This just means to leave home. For example, I usually head out around 8:30, or I head out at 9 to catch the bus.
And to scroll through, we already explained. To move your finger on the screen and look at posts, messages, or news.
Another good one is to grab. In the morning, people often say, I grab a coffee, or I grab a quick breakfast, or I grab my keys in my bag.
It sounds very natural and casual. I grab a quick snack. I grab my jacket, things like that.
Now let's talk about the grammar side for a moment. When we describe routines, we usually use the present simple tense.
Exactly. We say, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I have breakfast, I go to work. Not, I am waking up in this context. That would usually be for something happening right now.
We also use adverbs of frequency to say how often we do something. Always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never.
For example, I always brush my teeth in the morning. I usually drink coffee. I often listen to podcasts. I sometimes exercise. I rarely eat a big breakfast. I never skip coffee.
Great examples. If you can add one of these adverbs to each sentence, your English will sound smoother and more natural.
You can try making 3 sentences right now in your head. For example, I usually wake up at 7. I sometimes skip breakfast. I always check my email before work.
Perfect practice. Now let's make it a little more interactive. Ryan, let's give our listeners some questions they can answer out loud.
Great idea. We'll ask a question, then pause a moment so they can answer.
Question 1. What time do you usually wake up on weekdays?
Think of your answer in English. For example, on weekdays, I usually wake up at 7.
Question 2. What is the first thing you do after you get up?
Maybe you say, the first thing I do is open the curtains. Or, the first thing I do is check my phone. Or, the first thing I do is go to the bathroom.
Question 3. What do you usually have for breakfast?
You might say, I usually have eggs and toast. Or, I normally eat cereal with milk. Or, I often just drink coffee.
Sarah, question 4. Do you exercise in the morning? Why or why not?
Ryan, you could say, yes, I do a quick workout in the morning because it gives me energy. Or, no, I prefer to exercise in the evening.
Sarah, question 5. What time do you usually leave the house?
For example, I usually leave the house around 8:30, or I head out at 9.
Sarah, if you want extra practice, you can pause this podcast after each question and record your answers on your phone. Then listen again and try to improve your pronunciation and fluency.
That's a powerful way to learn.
Sarah, let's switch gears for a moment and talk about bad morning habits and good morning habits. That gives you more vocabulary.
Good idea. Sarah, what are some bad habits people have in the morning?
Number 1, hitting the snooze button too many times. You can say, I have a bad habit of hitting the snooze button over and over again.
Another one is checking social media for too long. I waste a lot of time scrolling through social media in the morning.
Or skipping breakfast. I often skip breakfast because I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry means I don't have enough time.
Exactly. And maybe rushing around at the last minute. I always rush around at the last minute trying to find my keys and my phone.
Now, good habits. We already mentioned some. Making your bed, drinking water, exercising, preparing your to-do list.
You can say, I'm trying to develop better habits, or I'm trying to start my day more calmly.
Or, I'm trying to cut down on screen time in the morning.
To cut down on means to reduce.
These phrases let you talk not only about what you do now, but also about changes you want to make in the future.
Another useful angle is to compare weekdays and weekends. Ryan, how is your weekend morning routine different from your weekday routine?
On weekends, everything is slower. On weekends, I like to sleep in. I usually wake up around 9 instead of 7. I take my time in the morning. I make a bigger breakfast, maybe pancakes or eggs, and I enjoy my coffee slowly. Sometimes I read a book or watch a show before I start my day.
I love that. You use some great phrases. Sleep in, take my time, enjoy my coffee slowly.
How about you?
On weekends, I also sleep in a little. I don't set an alarm. I wake up naturally, usually around 8 or 8:30. I like to have a relaxed breakfast, maybe with friends or family. Sometimes I go for a walk in the park or I stay in my pajamas and watch a movie.
I don't set an alarm is a nice phrase. It means you don't turn on any alarm clock.
And I wake up naturally means you wake up without an alarm, just when your body is ready.
Let's do another short model answer, this time comparing weekdays and weekends. This can be very useful for speaking exams.
I'll do one and then you can do one. Sarah, on weekdays, I usually wake up around 6:30 because I have to go to work. I get up, make my bed, and take a quick shower. Then I have a light breakfast and a cup of coffee before I head out. On weekends, my routine is more relaxed. I usually sleep in until 8 or 9, and I don't set an alarm. I take my time in the morning, make a bigger breakfast, and sometimes go for a walk or read a book before I start my day.
That's an excellent answer. Here's another version. During the week, my mornings are quite structured. My alarm goes off at 7 and I get up almost immediately. I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and get dressed. Then I make some coffee, check my email, and plan my schedule. On weekends, it's completely different. I usually wake up later, around 9. I like to relax in bed for a while, check my phone, and maybe watch a few videos. I have a slow breakfast, and sometimes I meet friends for brunch.
Feel free to choose the one that sounds more like you and practice it several times.
Before we move to the ending, let's give our listeners a simple formula they can follow to build their own answer.
Great idea. Here's the formula. Step 1, start with a time expression. On weekdays, or every morning, or usually.
Step 2, say what time you wake up. I usually wake up at.
Step 3, describe 3 or 4 actions in order using first, then, after that, finally.
Step 4, add details about breakfast, exercise, or getting ready.
Step 5, if you want, compare weekdays and weekends with but on weekends or however on weekends.
If you follow this formula, you'll easily be able to speak for 30 to 60 seconds about your morning routine.
Maybe we can create a short sample that leaves blanks for the listener to fill in.
Let's do it.
On weekdays, I usually wake up at blank. I get up after blank, and the first thing I do is blank. Then I blank and blank. After that, I blank and have blank for breakfast. Finally, I blank and head out at about blank.
You can pause the podcast, write this template down, and fill in the blanks with your own routine.
And then try saying it out loud 2 or 3 times until it feels natural.
All right, Sarah, I think we're almost ready to wrap up. But before we do, I want to ask you one more fun question.
Go for it.
If you could change just one thing about your morning routine to make it even better, what would you change?
I would like to spend less time on my phone. I sometimes check messages and social media for too long, and it makes me feel rushed.
That's very honest.
I'd like to replace that with reading a few pages of a book or practicing meditation for 10 minutes.
That sounds great. For me, I'd like to add a longer workout. Right now, I do just a few minutes of exercise, but I'd love to turn it into a full 20-minute routine.
Listeners, you can answer this question too. What is one thing you would like to change about your morning routine? It's a nice way to combine English practice with self-improvement.
All right, let's bring it home.
Today, we talked about how to describe your morning routine in English. We gave you useful verbs like wake up, get up, make your bed, brew coffee, head to the kitchen, scroll through social media, get ready, and head out.
We also shared adverbs of frequency like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never, plus time expressions like on weekdays, on weekends, first thing in the morning, and sleep in.
And we gave you model answers and a simple formula to build your own description.
Now it's your turn. We'd love to hear from you.
In the comments, tell us about your morning routine in English. You don't have to write a long essay. Just 2 or 3 sentences are perfect.
You can start with, on weekdays, I usually, or every morning, I use some of the vocabulary from this episode.
And if you want extra practice, write 2 versions, one for weekdays and one for weekends.
If you enjoyed this conversation and you want more English practice with real, relaxed dialogue, make sure you follow the podcast, leave a rating, and share this episode with a friend who is also learning English.
Your support helps us keep creating helpful episodes for you.
Thank you so much for listening to Daily English Café.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, a great day starts with a great morning routine.
Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.
Bye for now.
Bye.